Kentucky Goblins, also known as the Hopkinsville Goblins, is a story that has been told and retold for over 6 decades. The strange events that occurred on a summer night in 1955 in rural Kentucky have become the stuff of legend, inspiring countless theories, investigations, and debates among paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike. The story begins on the evening of August 25th, 1955, when two men, Billy Ray Taylor and Elmer Lucky Sutton, were sitting outside a farmhouse in rural Christian County, Kentucky. The men had been shooting at an old water pump in the yard when they saw a strange glowing object streak across the sky and land in a nearby field. Thinking that it might be a meteorite, the men walked down to the field to investigate. As they got closer, they saw a strange creature-like being emerge from the trees. The being was described as about 3 feet tall with spindly arms and legs, a large head, and glowing eyes. Its skin was a leathery gray color, and it had small clawed hands. The men were understandably terrified and ran back to the farmhouse. They told their families what they had seen, but the relatives thought they were joking. But moments later, they heard strange noises coming from the woods. They went outside again and were met with the same strange creature. They ran back to the farmhouse, barricaded the doors and windows, and armed themselves with guns. For the next several hours, the men and their families claimed that they were under siege by a group of bizarre, goblin-like creatures. The creatures were said to have the same physical characteristics as the first one the men had seen, and appeared to be able to move incredibly quick and with great agility. The creatures were also said to have small, clawed hands and to speak in a language that was unintelligible to the men. The creatures reportedly tried to break into the farmhouse several times, but the men and their families were able to fend them off with gunfire. At around 3:30 a.m., the creatures suddenly stopped their attack and retreated back into the woods. The men and their families were left shaken and bewildered, unsure of what they had just experienced. The next day, the men contacted the local police to report the strange events. The police searched the area and found no evidence of the creatures or anything else out of the ordinary. However, word of the encounter soon spread, and the story of the Kentucky Goblins became a media sensation. Over the years, the story of the Kentucky Goblins has taken on a life of its own. Numerous theories have been put forth to explain the bizarre encounter, ranging from the idea that the men may have encountered misidentified animals such as owls or raccoons, to the suggestion that the incident was a hoax or an elaborate prank. However, many people believe that the story of the Kentucky Goblins is more than just a tall tale or a hoax. The events of the summer night in 1955 continue to captivate the imaginations of paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike, and the story has become a part of the rich folklore and cultural heritage of Kentucky. One of the more popular theories regarding the Kentucky Goblins is that the creatures were actually extraterrestrial beings. Some people believe that the glowing object seen by the men before they encountered the goblins was actually a UFO, and that the creatures were the ship's occupants. Supporters of this theory point to the similarities between the goblins and the other alleged encounters with extraterrestrial beings, such as the well-known Roswell incident. They suggest that the creatures may have been conducting some sort of reconnaissance or observation mission on the planet. Another popular theory is that the creatures were actually interdimensional beings. Proponents of this theory believe that the creatures were not from another planet, but from a parallel dimension that intersects with our own. They argue that the glowing object seen by the men was a portal or doorway that allowed the goblins to enter our world. Supporters of this theory often point to the strange and otherworldly nature of the goblins themselves as evidence. They note that the creatures had small clawed hands and moved with incredible speed and agility, suggesting that they were not bound by the same physical laws as humans. There are also those who believe that the Kentucky Goblins were simply a product of the men's imaginations. Skeptics argue that the men were likely under the influence of alcohol or drugs when they saw the creatures, or that they may have been suffering from a psychological disorder or hallucination. Critics of this theory point out that there were multiple witnesses to the events of that night, including the men's families and several neighbors who also reported strange lights and noises in the area. They argue that the sheer number of witnesses combined with the consistency of the accounts suggests that there was something more than just a figment of the men's imaginations. Despite the numerous theories that have been put forth to explain the events of that summer night in 1955, the story of the Kentucky Goblins remains shrouded in mystery. To this day, there is no concrete evidence to support any of the theories, leaving the theory open to interpretation and debate. However, the legend of the Kentucky Goblins continues to capture the imagination of those who hear it and has become an integral part in the rich folklore and cultural heritage of Kentucky. The story has been told countless times over the years and has inspired numerous books, films, and documentaries. While the truth behind the Kentucky Goblins may never be known, the story serves as a reminder of the power of folklore and the enduring mystery of the unexplained. It is a testament to the enduring human fascination with the unknown and a reminder that sometimes the most inexplicable stories can be the most compelling.